All right, here we are, day 2. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna erase this that I should not have drawn on here. Day 2 vanishing point. And then I'm gonna erase this horizon line. Remember, draw light, much lighter than I am, so that you don't see these lines once you erase them. Because I'm still seeing a bunch of lines that I've drawn. So I'm just gonna fix this horizon line. Now just to review, the horizon line is where what separates the ground from the sky. So if you look off on the horizon, you're gonna see anything below this horizon line is ground, anything above is sky. And the horizon line is our line of sight. So it's where we see things. All right, so now what we're gonna do today is we're gonna draw some buildings in the, on the sides of the paper. So I got my other little smaller ruler so I'm not hitting this thing I'm holding my camera with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start just like I did here. I'm gonna start with a rectangle or a square. So I'm gonna decide where I want it. I'm gonna bring it right up from the top of this building here, straight up. And then remember, I have to take my triangle, the base of the triangle, to the side of the paper. And then this time I'm gonna go towards the edge of the paper. I'm not gonna go towards the buildings because the side of my building has to be right in here. So now I'm gonna take my corners to the vanishing point. So left corner to the vanishing point. Now I wanna keep my paper clean. So I'm gonna stop at whatever I want the depth of my building to be. So I'm not drawing it across all that and messing up my other drawing. And then I'm gonna take this corner. Now I could go from that corner. I'm gonna pretend like my corner is out here though. Like that's where the top of my building ends. And I'm gonna take that, or you could go from there to that dot. And again, I'm gonna go right, so it's about parallel with this one. So that's gonna be the top of my building. This is gonna be the side. So now to find the side, I've gotta take the base of the triangle even with the bottom of the paper. I'm gonna bring that one straight down. Then I'm gonna take the base of the triangle to the side of the paper, come up here to this intersection I created, and I'm gonna come straight over. And then I'm gonna just erase this little extra line. Now you'll notice that this line, and this line are all parallel to one another. They're all equal distance apart. So if these would never run into each other. This one is parallel with this one, is parallel with this, is parallel with this. They're all parallel with the horizon line. So all of these lines are parallel with one another. And when you're drawing any of the tops of the buildings, you want to make sure you take the base of the triangle, line it up with the edge of the paper, edge of the paper, edge of the paper. Okay, so now that's one building here on the side that is still below the horizon line, because any building that is below the horizon line, we're seeing the whole top of it. I'd have to draw 4 lines to define that top. Now this one's a little closer to this horizon line, so the space from here to here is a little bit farther because it's changing our perspective as we're getting closer up higher to that vanishing point. This one's a little bit, there's a little more distance from here to here. Little more distance from here to here. So the closer they are, the bottom of the paper is the buildings that are closest to us. Those roofs are going to be a little wider. My kids always say, I say roof funny. And then this one in the middle is a little further from us. And then these that are above the horizon line, we're not seeing the whole top of the building. We're only seeing 2 lines that define the top of the building, but we're not seeing the top. That's because we're not taller than those buildings. These buildings are taller than us. Those other ones are not. So now I'm gonna draw another building like right in here to fill in this space. So I'm gonna line this up on the edge of the paper, make sure it's even. I'm gonna bring my line up. Now this is a huge building. Probably shouldn't make a building. I'm not gonna make it quite that tall. Then I'm gonna come over here, make sure it's even. Draw a line right off my paper. Then I'm going to erase that. Now, if I would have left that one, I would have just taken the line off my paper. Now I'm going to take this corner to the vanishing point. But again, to keep my paper cleaner, I'm going to stop at wherever I want the back of the building to be. I'm going to make this one go all the way to, and I'm going to make the back of it behind this building here. So this is a pretty good sized building. But it's still above the horizon line, so I still only see the edge of the top of the line. Then I'm going to erase this part of the horizon line because I put this building right in front of it. Again, you guys draw lighter. I want you guys to be able to see this, so I'm drawing kind of dark. Okay, now I'm going to fix this one, make that a little darker. Okay, so now I'm going to put another building in the background here. I'm going to make a taller one, like a skyscraper. So again, I have to make sure, take the time to align. Then I'm taking the time to align on the side, bottom of the triangle, side of the paper, bottom of the... Whenever I draw a line, either my bottom of my triangle is on the side of the paper or the bottom of the triangle is on the bottom of the paper. Drawing this, the vertical lines of the building, triangle, base of the triangle on the bottom of the paper. Drawing the horizontal parts of the building, base of the triangle on the side of the paper. And then I'm going to take my corner down to the vanishing point, but I'm going to stop it where I want the back of my building to be. I'm going to come down a little bit further because I just noticed that if I brought that right down there, it would line up with that triangle. With that corner. And I think it would look a little funny. Look a little confusing. So then that's another building I have in the background right there. So now let's do some over on this side. Again, wherever I want my building, I'm going to bring a line up. I'm making this one a short building, so I'm just bringing a little line up. Then I'm going to take my base of the triangle to the side of the paper. And this line is going to go right to the... Remember, when I'm doing these on the outside, I'm going to the edge of the paper, right off the paper. Then I'm going to take my corner to the vanishing point right here. So let's say I'll end it right about there. That lined up pretty even with that one. That does not always happen. I'm going to take this corner here. And then I'm going to find the back of this building here. So line up that triangle, base of the triangle with the base of the paper. Draw the back of my building. Now this one just happens to be the same height as that one. Don't normally have that happen. Now I'm going to bring a line up again. Come over here somewhere, bring a line up. So I'm always starting with a rectangle or a square by aligning that base of that triangle to the edge of the paper or the side of the paper, or the bottom of the paper. And then I'm going to take my corner back to the vanishing point, but I'm not going to go across that building there to keep my paper nice and clean. Then I'm going to erase. And then I'm going to erase. Now one more building. Let's say I want to have one right here. And I'm going to make another tall building. This time I'm going to take it right off the edge of my paper. So I'm only seeing kind of the side of it. The rest of the building would be off my paper. Now I'm going to take the side of the triangle to the vanishing point. That's about as deep as I want that building to be. So I'm going to bring my line. Now look at, if I just go like that, I'm not really paying attention and I don't have that lined up, you can tell right away it's wrong. So if you draw a line and you're like, that does not look right, then it probably is not. So remember, the main thing is, whenever I draw a line, I am either using my triangle and I'm lining the base of the triangle on the bottom of the paper for the sides of the buildings, the side of the paper for the tops of the buildings, or I'm using the vanishing point for the sides of the buildings, for the top and the bottom of anything. Like when we start drawing windows and doors tomorrow and all that, or the next time we meet, then you're going to be using that a lot. Now, anytime I want to draw a building now, I'm just starting with my rectangle. I'm going to come up back behind these buildings here. I'm going to come over. And if you only have a ruler and you want to use it as a triangle, you just have to make sure that these two bottom lines, that you're lining those up like so. You want to make sure those are even. Because with perspective, it's pretty precise. You know, you really don't want to do a lot of guessing. Once you do it enough, you'll get good at it, and then you'll be able to guess. And then I'm going to bring my line straight down again, making sure I'm lining up those little the first black lines on my ruler to make sure it's straight. But I like this triangle. And then I'm going to take to draw the top, the side that faces the street, I'm going to come down to this vanishing point. Now it looks a little awkward because it's so tall. Then I'm going to take the bottom of the triangle back down to the bottom of the paper, bring my line straight down. So I can fill up my paper with buildings now if I wanted to. Now, the other thing I want to show you today is how to do your sidewalk lines. So if I was doing sidewalk lines, I'm going to take the triangle to the side of the paper. You can do the same thing with your little triangle that you made if you need to. Or you could line up these little black lines of your ruler. See if you can see them right here, that first line on the sides of the paper. You could do that too. But I'm going to use my triangle. Line that up. Then I'm going to draw a line from one side to the other on both sidewalks. Then I'm going to kind of come back a little bit. Really, I'm moving my triangle up my paper, but I'm moving down the sidewalk. And you'll notice these lines are getting a little bit smaller as they go away because I'm fitting them within that sidewalk line. And they would really get a little closer together too. Let me fix that one. This is not straight. With perspective, if something is off just a little bit, you can really notice it because it's so precise. Now, usually with drawing, I'm like, we don't want to use those little mechanical pencils, because they break so easily, and it's hard to shade with them. But with perspective, they're good because you have a really nice sharp little dot of a point, and the sharper your pencil is with this, the better your drawing is going to be. So that's my sidewalk. Now, if I wanted to do a line down the center of my, for like a no passing zone, I'm almost making another little sidewalk in the center. And then you could shade that in. If I wanted to make a passing zone, you could take the triangle back to the side of the paper, draw a line, and then erase a little bit in the center. But I'm going to shade the rest of this. That means nobody can pass me if I'm driving down the road. Okay. Now, you could also draw like the top view of a car, driving down the road if you wanted to. I'm not going to draw that in there, but you could do that if you wanted to too. You could draw sidewalks. You could draw little trees or sidewalks or street lights. Just make sure if you're drawing a street light that you use this triangle and it goes straight up and down. You don't want it to get, you don't want the street lights to be at an angle, or a tree to be at an angle. You want them to be straight up and down, just like the sides of the buildings. And then if you get this done for day 2, this will be pretty good. So take a picture of it, and you can turn it into Artsonia for day 2. Once you have your buildings filled up with paper. Once you have your paper filled up with the buildings. I'm going to show you how to do a bridge across from one to the other too, if you wanted to do that. I'm going to do my bridge. No, I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to connect this front to this front. You guys do not have to do a bridge. A lot of my kids like to do bridge, so I'm going to show you. So from that side to that side. Now this building, I'm going from this building to this building because this building is shorter, and you can see that I connected from there to there. So I'm going to come back to the back of this one now. Line up my triangle, line up the base of that triangle, draw a line from then the back of this building to the back of that building. And I'm right at the top of that building already. So now I want to get the top of this one in by going to the vanishing point, which means I will have to move this one over just a smidgen. Okay, now this is going to be the top of my little bridge. So that means I have to erase all this stuff. Again, why it's important to draw light, because I'm having a hard time erasing some of this. Once we shade these in, if we do, then it would kind of camouflage some of that. And then I'm going to take my triangle to the side of the paper, draw a line from side to side, and again, erase this. Now, so this is the top of, this is my kind of bridge, the top of it. So this is the side that faces me, that's the top. I could either draw another line. I could draw lines going up. To make like a little handrail. have to go one more. I'll go to this corner up, and then I have to go, this corner is, that line is already there. So I'm gonna go to the top of this, draw the top of my railing, line this up. You do not have to draw a bridge. And then I would do the same thing here. I'm going to the vanishing point now for the top of that. So that's gonna be the top of that on this side. Then I'm going from here, not there. So from that top of the railing to the other side of the building, then I'm gonna connect top, bringing this back over to this side, connecting top to top. And then again, I would draw these lines. That one will go straight up, that one goes straight up. These, you don't make, be careful that you're not drawing these at an angle. Make sure you're keeping this even. You can go 2, 2, 2. So maybe I could put in here like a little garden. Basketball court. Well, I don't know about a basketball court. The basketballs might fly off the roof and that would be a problem trying to find it. Okay, so this is good though. If you want to do a bridge, oh, one more thing. If I wanted to make this the end of this, not end at my vanishing point, I could curl these kind of around so my road kind of tucked back behind that building. Eventually I'm going to erase that horizon, that vanishing point. I'll erase it now and I'll put it back. I would eventually erase that, but you're still going to see this part of your horizon line. And again, I'm having a hard time erasing all these extra lines. Apologize for that. Okay, so take a picture of day 2. Once you have all your buildings in, turn it in, and then day 3, we're gonna do the windows and doors. Thank you.